Good game, guy.
Dude.
All right. Welcome, guys, to the Podtendo tier ranking list or something. I don't know. I haven't really figured out the naming. It sounds awkward and weird. And this might be our couple, maybe second, third attempt recording this because ads keep playing because websites are sweet with pop ups. This is our mini review of our game that we just played yesterday. So if for some reason you didn't have an hour and a half to listen to us ramble on, and you want to just, I don't know, check in with the boys, see how this game ranks compared to all the others. That's what we're going for, right, Tyson?
Yeah. And I mean, it's supposed to be short, sweet, kind of just the highlights of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess why don't you want to jump into it?
Well, I mean, this project definitely worked better when we were doing multiple shows at once. We were ranking like 10 at a time. Much cleaner. Obviously, to keep it up makes these much more challenging. But yeah, essentially, we have to give you a mini review. So if you are kind of new to the experience, Mario RPG. How does the story hold up? So that's a good place to start. How's the overall story of this game? Quick little spoiler-free review. I guess if people are interested in playing the game later and don't want things spoiled.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward little adventure. It's got it's pretty tight knit. There's not too many big twists or turns or anything like that, but it's pretty straightforward. Kind of every little area you go has its own mini story, and it builds to this big grand adventure as you're going around collecting the superstars.
Yeah, it has a feeling of an old RPG. I don't want to speak at the time. It's not as in depth as the Final Fantasy, but it has kind of the Final Fantasy twinge, kind of that weird JRPG weirdness to it. Just set in the Mario universe, right? So most of the enemies are from Mario games, and you have like familiar things like Toad Town, right? But they obviously kind of give it their own flair, change things up just ever so slightly, and kind of give you like a unique little experience. Is the narrative 100% great top to bottom? No. Is it super uneven? Yes. Is it? Do you forgive it because everyone's so damn cute? Certainly do.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're running through it from start to finish in like the 13 hours it takes to complete, yeah, the story's like a little thin or whatever. But I think when you were a kid and you're playing through each like level a night or something, it was there's enough meat and content there that everywhere you're going, it's entertaining and there's new things happening.
Yeah, and this was still before video games became like a narrative driven medium that we'll see like later on, right? This is still kind of early on in the veins of, was Final Fantasy 2 story crazy or Final Fantasy 3? No, just kind of random things happen. You just kind of have to roll with it. They're old, weird RPGs. So, graphics, though, however, this game, I would say that's probably the biggest advantage that this game has over the original is it just looks so damn good. Everything's so clean. It's so pretty. It's just, it's super nice. The old pre-rendered backgrounds of the Super Nintendo looked great at the time, right? And they were being put on store shelves and being compared to the N64, which is like pretty monumental, guys. The fact that this end of this generation on this console was able to compete with the next gen, it's pretty commonplace now, but more of I think of them dumbing down the newer games, right, so that they can run on the PS5s and PS4 rather than trying to push the hardware. So, like graphically, this new game took what wasn't a pretty good-looking Super Nintendo game and just made it so much cleaner and cuter, and it's adorable.
Yeah, and I mean, runs great. So it's like, especially with a timing game, you really need it to be not only look good but run well.
Uh-huh.
And I think it does a really good job with that. It's a really cuter art style. It's of that older thing, like the miming that Mario and all the characters do, because nothing's voice acted.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just like text dialogue and miming, but they're little like like raising their hands whenever they're excited or whatever. Is like very cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very adorable little game where I think it's adorable, but it's also like it's not too cutie or anything like that, where you feel like um, feel goofy playing it. But no, it's solid. I mean, I really enjoy it. So
Nice. Solid. What else? Gameplay. It's a pretty standard RPG. When the overworld, when you're not in the battle, you actually this is actually the one change that I noticed last night. So when I was recording footage for this video that we're talking about right now, to hit a special attack, it's the Y button. So you queue up the Y button that shows you, and then you hit Y button again to confirm. Whereas in the remake, you would hit the Y button and A to confirm. So I don't know why they changed that. I guess because it's a little bit more simple, and we're just used to the A command, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's more of a creature comfort. Like you got used to it eventually, but going back to the original after playing this game, I was like, wow, that's jarring. I kept just canceling my special attacks. Like it took me a couple of attempts to finally put in the right command. So
Interesting. Yeah, it's like just smoothing the fit like experience where you're not having to like switch between buttons when you like just tap.
cool.
Especially if like you're kind of just like mindlessly mashing your way through a millionth battle or whatever. So
And then
yeah,
Overworld, there's a little bit of exploration, a little bit of platforming. Nothing super challenging. There was no part where I got like actively frustrated. I did, but it was because there was a hidden tile that I should have hit. So
yeah,
maybe my fault, not the game.
yeah. And like I mean, there's a couple spots where it's a little you're not quite sure what you're supposed to do, but even if you just go to the main overworld, if the area has a flag on it, that's where you need to be
Yeah,
to progress.
there you go.
So
Cool, awesome. So that kind of hits most of the categories, right? I should really write them out so that we're not forgetting stuff. Because sometimes off the cuff, you might be like, oh yeah, we didn't even talk about characters or what our favorite. We didn't even talk about our favorite enemies.
yeah, yeah. Or our most notable things from it, or favorite kind of
Yeah.
moments or
Well,
characters from this game.
yesterday I talked an hour and a half about all those things. So if I forgot one or two things, I would forgive myself. However, though, now we got the nitty gritty. You guys got your little mini review. Probably worth checking out. If you haven't played it before, I definitely would recommend diving into this little fun experience and being like, oh, okay, cool. It's more of a pixel remaster of an old game, and it feels like it's a little bit older, right? It's kind of clunky. There's parts that are uneven. So you have to kind of go in appreciating that part of it, right? It's just a much cleaner, nicer version of that kind of older game. Other than that, though, I definitely recommend it. Check it out if you haven't. It's fun. It's good. It's a good game.
I agree. It's a basic RPG, so you're not going to expect the super in-depth thing, but there's stuff that you can do to break the game if you enjoy that stuff. It's a quick experience. You're in and out in not too long. Like it's not a 40-hour slog or anything like that. The game clips along at a good pace. The story's interesting. Got lots of nice, unique characters and two new playable characters that only make their appearance in this game. So,
Sweet.
definitely worth. If you're a Mario fan and you like RPGs, this is just like you have to check it out. This is a classic and a must play.
Okay. Now, I'm looking at just some other games. I know we've done these reruns, so this is a game we played 7 years ago on the podcast. We're just kind of doing a fresh coat of paint with the new re-release and talking about it. I noticed Link's Awakening HD is not on this list. Now, is that just because we decided that Link's Awakening and Link's Awakening HD essentially were the same entity and they belonged in the same spot? And is that what we're doing today? Or is this just a cop-out and we're looking at this spot that Mario RPG exists in between Paper Mario and above Final Fantasy II in the great experience category? And is that where it stays? Is that where Mario RPG, and I don't put a new graphic up, I just leave it as is? Is that what we're going to decide right here and now? I didn't go back and look. I should have looked at, obviously done some research and checked what we...
I forget why we didn't include it. I think maybe because we just were like, it's kind of the same entity. If you're going to play this, why would you go back and play the Game Boy version when you can play the Switch version?
Okay.
So same thing with this one. Like, why would you go back and play the Super Nintendo version when you can play this? I'm sure the Super Nintendo version looks amazing on a CRT or whatever, but I got a 4K TV and most people do. So, yeah, I was just thinking, even if with the upgrades, does it do anything to kind of move the needle? Like that top part of the list is pretty locked in. Does it?
Yeah.
Does the remake do anything different to make it better than Paper Mario? I still think I like Paper Mario more than I like Super Mario RPG.
You stole the words out of my mouth. I love our Final Fantasy III, Earthbound, Paper Mario to Mario RPG to Final Fantasy II to Gold and Silver.
Pokemon,
I think
yeah.
that's kind of like a really solid, clean. That's how I'd probably rank all those RPGs. And as a result, I wouldn't move it. I think it's cemented in its spot. The remake just didn't add enough from a challenge or kind of modernize it, I guess, enough to change it. So look at that. So anticlimactic. So you listen to us ramble for 10 minutes and we're telling you that it's been here all along.
Yeah.
Just like
yeah.
the magical song in your heart. It's been with you the whole time.
But you know what? I think sometimes it's that's all like that's a good spot for it.
Oh yeah.
That like games are kind of like once they hit and make their way onto the Mount Rushmore of video games, that is our wall list. The top
I
end a lot more set in place.
I suspect that if we went back and listened to that show, it would we would say like our Link's Awakening, sorry, we'd be like, no, it's basically gonna go right here. Let's not add like this is such rarefied real estate. Let's save the space. So I'm gonna say the same thing. Mario RPG, you have not moved. You're in the same spot. We still love you. You're still up there. But I'd like to keep these spots open potentially for future games rather than like putting two Mario RPGs on there. Seems
Yeah,
silly.
exactly.
Okay.
I agree.
Cool. So with that, hopefully everyone's Well, we're gonna wish everyone happy holidays. It's kind of that weekend. So when you guys are getting to this, thanks for taking some time away from your family, spending us with some degenerates online. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and look forward to another great year. So.
Bye.